Will lessons be learned by the Congress, which the allies say was arrogant, overconfident? Let's take it to our panelists this evening. Joining me, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Riju Datta, Spokesperson, TMC; Mahima Singh, Spokesperson, Congress; Ghanshyam Tiwari, Spokesperson, Samajwadi Party. Mahima, fortunately, unfortunately, we have to begin with you because let me give you some figures, Mahima. There are 7 seats in Haryana where the Aam Aadmi Party has polled more than the winning margin of the BJP, and you were number 2 there. These are 7 seats right now where the Aam Aadmi Party's polling is concerned. Let's hark back to Madhya Pradesh, Mahima, elections last year. The Samajwadi Party went on a bend to plead to you, which is the Congress, that give us some seats, especially in the Chambal area or the part of Madhya Pradesh which borders the state of Uttar Pradesh, Jhansi area, where there is a sizable Yadav population. We can make a difference. At that point of time, the Congress party thought that they were way too confident to win this election on their own. Today, I'm not saying this. Your friends in the India Alliance, your allies are saying this. Are there any regrets at all? Is there any, what might one say, Atma Chintan over it?
Jai Hind. Preeti, Shiv Mangal Singh Suman's lines are befitting today, first of all. क्या हार में क्या जीत में किंचित नहीं भयभीत में संकल्प पथ पर जो मिले ये भी सही वो भी सही. However, in this case, in Haryana's case, we are questioning a lot of complaints. We are questioning a lot of actions taken by the officials where several complaints have been made today. Over 20 complaints from 20 constituencies have been handed over to the ECI, and 13 more assemblies have 13 more complaints which will be handed over in the next 48 hours. We are looking over the results, and you're asking me about our discussions with the allies and our arrangements that could not be made, and you're actually asking me, do we have regrets? I think the question of regret is irrelevant here, because I think you're talking about matters that are discussed behind closed doors, the matters which have manifold layers to them, and I think they're not out in the open, so they're not subject to a discussion like this. Also, in the very beginning of your story, you said the result sent Congress in shock. I must correct you here, Preeti. The result has sent Haryana in shock. The entire Haryana is in shock, as I
Mahima
said.
Singh, whoever it is sent in shock, whether it is Haryana, whether it is just the Congress, whether it is pollsters, that's separate. The writing's on the wall now, and one has to wake up and smell the coffee. That's very, very clear, Mahima Singh. And the fact is, the sheer fact, Mahima Singh, that I'm telling you that it's on paper. There are 7 seats, Mahima, where the Aam Aadmi Party, even though it's lost deposit on 80% of its seats, yet 7 seats where it has polled more than the winning margin. That in itself should be not shocking, but at least humbling for the Congress. Because if you remember, Mahima, at that point of time, it had come down to 5 seats, 3 or 5 seats that the Aam Aadmi Party wanted. And your local unit, your high command, which is Rahul Gandhi, wanted to go through with it. Your local unit turned around and said, we don't need them. We can do this alone. Clearly not.
Preeti, I wonder, why are we not discussing what went wrong in J&K and Ayodhya? Why are we not discussing how public has failed the BJP's agenda of Ram Mandir and 370? Why are we not discussing how BJP did not field candidates on most of Kashmir's seats, only 19 out of 46? We know Haryana has gone wrong, and there's a lot you were talking about.
The point is,
I tell you what's on paper, there are complaints that have been taken to the ECI.
Okay, fair point. But Mahima, complaints, like I said, you can continue to complain. It's your democratic right and you must complain. But we've discussed Ayodhya at length, ad nauseum, after the Lok Sabha elections. We've discussed all of that. That's not the time for it. Let me just quickly move on, get in our other guests into this conversation. Ma'am, allow me to bring in our other guests. Ghanshyam Tiwari, if the Samajwadi Party wanted seats in the Hairwal belt, you wanted to get Akhilesh Yadav campaigning in Haryana, you wanted seats in Madhya Pradesh the last year around, where MP bordered UP around Jhansi, where there's a sizable Yadav population. Is there a sense that the Congress is overconfident and arrogant? Today you've released your 6 candidates on bypolls. The Congress had no clue.
Good evening, Preeti, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are 3 things that are very clear from this setup that exists in the country today. One, people of Haryana are in shock because nobody, those who visited Haryana, those who spoke to people of Haryana, believe the clinical nature of this verdict, which probably only algorithms can deliver. We have always mistrusted EVMs, even in the wake of our victories in Uttar Pradesh. We said that EVMs remain a suspect. That's one part of the story. The other part of the story is that in the wake of BJP's undiluted and ruthless hunger to win at any cost, it is important that Congress Party looks at every way by which people's verdict can be protected, or people's spirit to defeat BJP can be protected. And that is where the misstep happened. Akhilesh Yadav ji is a very popular leader, not just in Uttar Pradesh, but across the country. People credit him in defeating the BJP hate machine across the country by the defeats in Ayodhya and defeats across Uttar Pradesh. So Congress Party definitely did a misstep by not using that belief that people have in Akhilesh Yadav ji and the camaraderie that they see between Akhilesh Yadav ji and Rahul Gandhi ji. And as far as Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, there has been a continuous battle between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. So I will not zero in on that factor, but definitely in the ruthless hunger and amoral model of Bharatiya Janata Party, the India Alliance needs to ensure that protect public verdict, to ensure that EVMs do not become the mystery machines. We have to stay together and ensure that what people vote for, when people want to vote BJP out, they must be booted out. Haryana doesn't show that.
Well, the Congress thought that they were enough to take a one-on-one, head-on battle with the BJP and come up with a full majority, or rather a thumping majority. That hasn't happened. Riju, before I come to you, I want to bring in Sanju Verma, because Sanju Verma, today this is not India Alliance versus the BJP. This is India Alliance versus India Alliance and the BJP on the panel. But to bring you in, Sanju Verma, and we're just looking at just data and figures here. 7 seats where the Aam Aadmi Party has polled a bigger margin than the winning margin. And that's quite clear.
You know, Preeti, first and foremost, let's be very clear. Look at the debilitated opposition. You know, there is a kahavat. A bad workman blames his tools. And that is precisely what is happening with the Congress Party. TV channel par aakar rona dhona, EVM, खराब है, डेमोक्रेसी खतरे में है, संविधान खतरे में है, लोकतंत्र खतरे में है, गणतंत्र खतरे में है. थोड़ी शर्म आती है या नहीं? थोड़ी शर्म बची हो तो do some serious introspection rather than casting aspersions on the Chief Election Commissioner and on the democratic ethos and the electoral process. I was there on your show, Preeti, after we won 240 seats, and you categorically asked me, Sanju Verma, what do you have to say? 48 hours back, you were saying 400 seats milengi. And very, very humbly, I told you, Preeti, I'm disappointed, I'm upset. And we need to go back to the drawing board to see why, what happened. I never told you EVMs are faulty. I never told you I don't trust the Chief Election Commissioner. I never told you that democracy khatre mein hai. That is the difference between the BJP and the dot alliance. They are the India Alliance, not the India Alliance. But most importantly, I'll tell you something. In Maharashtra, there is a problem. The knives are out between Nana Patole and Bhai Jagtap, 2 senior Congress leaders. The knives are out between Varsha Gaikwad, the Mumbai Pradesh Congress chief, and the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, also from the Congress, Prithviraj Chavan. In Rajasthan, we all know that, Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot have no love lost between them. We also know that in Chhattisgarh, for the longest time, there was an open fight between T.S. Singhdeo, the then Health Minister, and the Chief Minister, Bhupesh Singh Baghel. And today, as you and me speak, Preeti, in Karnataka, while the khatakhat model has failed completely, there is a huge problem brewing between the current Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy D.K. Shivkumar. So, pehli baat, very quickly to the Congress, keep your house in order. Let Rahul Gandhi learn how to keep his flock together. नरेंद्र मोदी को, अमित शाह को, जेपी नड्डा को, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आपकी सलाह, मशवरे और सर्टिफिकेट की जरूरत नहीं है. And the most important point which your audience needs to know, The EVM is not connected to any smartphone device, any wired network, any wireless network. It is a standalone machine which consists of just two parts. The controlling unit, where you register your vote, and the ballot unit, which then collects your
Sanju Verma, coming to you, I want to bring in Riju Datta. But on a factual note, if it is the India Alliance, then it is the NDA Alliance. Because it is the NDA Alliance and India calls itself the India Alliance. So we have to stick with that, at least on the show. But you're free to call it whatever you want. But Riju Datta, I want to bring you in right now on this. The TMC has been very critical because clearly with what went down during the Lok Sabha elections in the state of West Bengal, where you clearly fell out, and all of that over seat sharing.
Okay, Preeti, just give me the equal courtesy of time. I want to say straight away that what happened to Congress in Haryana is exactly what happened to BJP in Bengal in 2021. Overconfidence and hubris leads to illusions, and illusions make you lose elections. That's the bottom line. The Congress has given a life jacket to the BJP by losing Haryana after 10 years of anti-incumbency, and it was there for Congress to win it. Congress has again proved that in a direct fight between BJP one-on-one, BJP has always bested Congress. It is the regional parties that has defeated BJP head-on, election after election. So my question is this, that TMC is the only alliance partner in India which does not have an electoral understanding with the Congress. Everybody else has. So why didn't you give space to Aam Aadmi Party and Samajwadi Party? Why didn't you do that? Congress has to shed this big brother attitude. After they lost in elections in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan last year, they appealed to all the opposition parties to be united and defeat BJP. We came together, all of us came together with the Congress, we formed an alliance, and Congress doubled its tally from 2019 to 2024. And then again, they have gone back to their old ways, they started being arrogant again. In Jammu and Kashmir, it is the National Conference that has done the heavy lifting. They have won the election. But I hope and I pray that Congress has learned its lesson from Haryana, and they will give equal respect to NCP Sharad Pawar fraction, to UBT fraction, and they will not repeat the Haryana mistake in Jharkhand and Maharashtra. That is what we hope. But the bigger question here is, will Congress learn from its mistake? That is what we have to say. We are all together in this fight.
That's the toughest that I've heard the TMC speak. That's some tough words. Stop playing Big Brother.
No, Preeti. TMC can give this gyan on your show because election after election, you cannot count BJP out. They are an election machinery. Until the last vote is counted, you cannot take them for granted. But it is TMC which has defeated BJP in a head-on contest, election after election, so we can say this.
Okay, 1 second. No. Sanju Verma, you should take this as a compliment. You should take this as a compliment. Okay, 1 second. Can I just I want Mahima saying, I know you'd rather remain quiet. This is a tough time for all Congress spokespersons, but you must answer. This is the toughest that the TMC has spoken ever. Very clearly, stop this big brother attitude. You don't have the gumption to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party on a one-on-one, head-on contest. You don't have it, is what they're saying. Drop the hubris. And hopefully they are asking you to drop it before you go into a Maharashtra and a Jharkhand.
So, Preeti, when you said that on your show today it is India versus India, I want to thank you for the compliment because it is truly a democratic alliance where all the stakeholders can speak their mind out and yet keep on discussing the possibilities on the drawing board. Now I must tell you what needs to be really done. And a complaint with collation of all the complaints has been moved, have been moved at the Election Commission today by a delegation of our senior leaders. Those complaints need to be looked in. And as Pawan Khera ji has demanded, rightfully on behalf of the Congress, especially Haryana, is that all the EVMs that are that would be under investigation that we have demanded must be sealed and secured so that there is a free and fair investigation there. The disparity in the battery levels, Preeti, cannot.
We've heard this. Strangely, the EVMs were working fine in the morning, then they were not fine. That's it's a democracy. You have every right to complain, but address. Okay, no, Mahima saying, please address something. Please address the charges leveled by your own allies on this show, ma'am.
Allow me to complete.
You are
this
steeped in
thought,
hubris. Ma'am, you're not,
Preeti,
then you address the question.
I shall allow me to complete my thought before that. With the complaints had started coming from our booth level agents early morning when the machines were opened, when the trends were favoring us. That's
Quit
number
the
one.
big brother attitude is what your allies are saying. Mahima Singh, would you want to speak about that or should I move on, ma'am?
It's a matter of fact what I'm saying, and to our allies, and most respectfully to our allies from the Bengal, I wish to remind that there's a coalition decorum that we all maintain, and we have, you see, why we have an edge, I must tell you, because we know how to, act within the lines. We know how to maintain that decorum. Congress party has always led the way
Mahima
for
Singh,
that.
where do you have that
Rahul
edge?
Gandhi has always led the way for larger discussions amongst the coalition partners. And
Where
I
do you
think,
have that edge, though?
I think everybody is aware of that.
Where do you have the edge, Mahima Singh?
We have, as I rightly said, LOP, Sri Rahul Gandhi has always led the way for discussion across the coalition partners, whether it is the
Before I go
Trinamool,
back to Ghanshyam Tiwari and Sanju
Aam
Verma,
Aadmi Party.
Riju Datta, your allies reminding you of coalition dharma.
Yeah, okay. We believe in coalition dharma.
10 seconds, sir.
I want to remind Congress that we are not the enemy. We are with you. But you also have to understand India is not just Congress.
Okay.
That's all.
Sanju Verma, you wanted to come in quickly, make your point,
and that's all.
Okay. Sanju Verma, come in.
Thank you. Preeti, let me again reinforce one point. Each time, and I'm not getting personal because Ghanshyam Tiwari, I have no personal offense, no personal grounds against him. He speaks for his party. But I fail to understand that how is it that when BJP loses, तब भी घनश्याम तिवारी कहते हैं मोदी जी की गलती है. जब बीजेपी हारती है या जीतती है, दोनों वक्त घनश्याम तिवारी उनका स्टैंड कांस्टेंट रहता है. गलती किसकी है? गलती तो मोदी जी की है. क्यों जीते? हार गए. गलती किसकी है? मोदी जी की है. हार गए. घनश्याम तिवारी, each time you speak, your party loses 1,000 votes. Each time Riju speaks, his party loses 500 votes. And as for Mahima Singh, she's too irrelevant. I don't even want to go down that path.
I'm not getting to personal attacks. Come on, let's rise above getting personal.
Okay, now Riju Datta says that the BJP, is still a force to reckon with. You cannot count them out till the last vote is counted. So far, so good. Let me remind Riju, prior to the Goa Assembly elections of 2022, Mahua Moitra went screaming from every rooftop. This time BJP will be defeated fair and square. The TMC did not get even a single vote.
Okay.
Then Sushmita Dev went about screaming from every rooftop.
Can I come in quickly, Preeti?
No, I need to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari because I need to close the show after that.
Let me finish, Preeti.
Ma'am, finish. You have 10 seconds, finish. Can I get Sanju Verma to quickly wrap up her point? 10 seconds, Sanju Verma, wrap up your point. Can I just get Sanju Verma for 10 seconds? Make your point, ma'am.
How frustrated can a BJP spokesperson?
Can I just get Sanju Verma 10 seconds? Make your point.
I'm making my point, Preeti. Don't start screaming at me. I did not heckle anyone. I expect
Ma'am, I'm not screaming. Yes.
Thank you. Let me make it very clear that the same TMC went around ahead of Tripura Assembly elections in 2023. Sushmita Dev was shouting from every rooftop. Tripura mein BJP ko tata, bye bye. TMC will come back to power. TMC
Ghanshyam Tiwari.
And as far as the Congress is concerned,
I want Ghanshyam Tiwari to get a word in and then I'm going to wrap up the show. Ghanshyam Tiwari, go ahead.
Well, I think at cutting the noise, one thing is obvious. There are two national alliances. There's India Alliance and there is NDA Alliance. Now, in the NDA Alliance, you look at parties like PDP that once upon was part of that alliance. You look at parties like JJP. BJP eats its alliance partner for lunch and dinner and breakfast. They finish off the parties. So we can fight among India Alliance, but the fact is people of Haryana want India Alliance to stay together. People of Haryana want their verdict to play out. The verdict is not playing out, and I am not making Mr. Modi irrelevant. It is people who made Modi irrelevant so that he did not campaign
too late
enough.
of what the people of Haryana want the India Alliance to come or not. You have to wait the next 5 years, and we have to wait whether the India Alliance is still together in the next 5 years.